Hello everyone. Now with less than 200 days remaining for next year prelims, we have come up with this orientation session of Step Up Prodigy batch, and with me we have Richa ma'am. So both of us will be discussing very important things in this session. The first part will be taken by me, and in this we will discuss the reasons, the philosophy behind this program or this exclusive batch. And then in the second part, a ma'am will tell about the working of this batch, how exactly we will work on the ground, how exactly we will help you crack this exam. So let's start with the first session. You want to say something, Richa ma'am?
So welcome everybody. I hope your studies are going on well. So we have something really special curated for you, and this is going to bring a revolution in UPSC and your UPSC preparation. Given the short period of time, we believe that if you have that intellect, you have that intensity and passion to crack the paper, then we are definitely over here to help you out in our best ways possible. So please listen out to this philosophy and how we are going to implement it. So sir, mic to you now.
I think most of you must have seen or must have watched this great man from Mumbai batting, Sachin Tendulkar. You know, I think many of you might have not seen him during his peak, but for us growing up in 90s, he was our hero in a way that Sachin, you know, when he used to get out, we used to, you know, close the TV, or, you know, we stopped watching match, because for us cricket meant Sachin. And he remained very active for 24 years, 89 to 2013. When he actually started playing cricket, you know, there were players like Imran Khan, Viv Richards, Vengsarkar. And when he retired with, you know, people like Kohli, Shami, right? So it's a gap of 24 years. And 24 years, this man remained consistent. Why did he remain consistent? Because he had this quality of adaptability. He actually made himself adapted with the changes in the playing style. For example, this match, this iconic photo is of Perth 2008. Now it was a bouncy wicket and all Indian batsmen were struggling. Brett Lee was, you know, delivering at 155 and it was very tough. Now this great man invented a new shot, uppercut, which he later played in many other matches. Now it is these innovations which helped him score really well even after 20 years of playing cricket. So for example, he was the highest run getter in 2009-10. Why? Because he adapted himself to the new realities. Now that's what we also are talking about in the context of UPSC. UPSC has changed itself drastically. If you feel that your uncle, your mama, your chacha can help you guide the exam, then it's very difficult. Because the reason being that when they gave the exam, the questions look like this. It's a 2008 UPSC mains GS paper. Bring out the pros and cons of special economic zone. Clear-cut direct question. Write about the following in 20 words. Lakshmi Bai, Ilbert Bill, Lala Hardayal, Vaikom Satyagraha. So directly you have to just write the answer. There was no analysis that was needed, right? And the reason behind that was that during that time, optionals played the key role. GS was just a side dish. But things have changed now. Now GS has a weightage of 1250 marks, including essay. Right? It's a main game changer. Optional has only weightage of 500 marks. Plus the level of questions have changed. People have more sources now. They have done more answer writing practice now. For example, if you see this question, critically analyze the proposition that there is a high correlation between India's cultural diversities and socio-economic marginalities. Now, you can clearly see that, right? You can clearly see that we have this kind of system now, right? The questions are not direct. You have to think, you have to analyze. So definitely UPSC has changed. If you will not change, then you'll not score marks, right? I will tell you a story. It's fine. I will tell you the story of one of my student who was part of the mains program this year, or last year I would say. He was technically an IPS of 2000 and 20 batch. And then he gave the exam after 3 years to improve his ranks. Now, when I saw his answers, I told him that 3 years back, these answers were good, but now other candidates, because this exam is competitive, so other candidates have improved more. So, you have to change. But he said, नहीं ठीक है सर, उस साल भी marks आए, इस बार भी आ ही जाएंगे. My main focus is on optional. Last year optional में कम थे. So, he followed the same pattern of answer writing, which he did 3 years back, and he could not crack mains that year. Interview call भी नहीं आया. So, the point I am saying is that UPSC is changing very fast. If you are not changing yourself accordingly, you will lose this race. Right. Now let's come to the main part, which is why we have launched this batch. Now we are like less than 200 days away from prelims. And we believe that at this moment, if somebody has just started preparation, it's very difficult for the person to crack the exam and also difficult for us to guide them. So that's why we actually kept some criteria for this batch, and that criteria was that you should have at least attempted one prelims, right? Or if not, you should have at least completed your syllabus, right? Because the purpose of this program is sprint preparation. You know, you must have seen athletics, you must have seen these short races, 100 meter, 200 meter. What does an athlete do in these races? They actually run very fast for a short period of time, for a short distance. They put all their energy to win the race, right? They put their maximum, effort in sprint races. So in a similar manner, this program will focus on sprint preparation. Which means that ultimately, now that you have completed the syllabus, or at least on the verge of completion, how to get marks. That is what we will teach in this program, right? Second reason why we have launched this batch is knowledge into application. See, there's a very famous quote by Eric Thomas, that knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is power. You know, you must have read hundreds of books. You know, there are IITians, people from AIMS who, prepare for the exam, and they are really good in their fields. Plus, we have many people who have read hundreds of books of polity, IR, and they're really, if you talk to them, you will feel that inki to rank pakka aani hai. And then when you see the result, they don't clear the prelims also. Because this exam is not just about knowledge. Knowledge is a very important component of this exam, but it's just not about knowledge. It's also the application of knowledge. You have great knowledge, but you are unable to write a good answer in 7.5 minutes. You're out of the race. I mean, few years back, 2 years back, a reputed faculty of an institute has joined my mentorship program, and ultimately, he had great knowledge. When I used to sit with him, I used to feel very, lack of knowledge wala thing. But he was not able to clear mains for last 3 attempts. The reason being that his knowledge, he was not able to use that, break that to write answers in 7.5 minutes. He was giving an introduction of half a page because there was so much to write. He has so much in mind. So, how to use the knowledge into application? That is the core philosophy of this batch. That you have knowledge, you have read, you have completed the syllabus. Now, how to use that syllabus? How to use that knowledge to ensure that you solve the prelims paper, to ensure that you prepare in a smart manner, to ensure that you write awesome answers, to ensure that you make awesome notes. Right? That's the second reason. For example, this question was asked by the UPSC this year. So you have, economic activity and sector. So there are like these 4 things: storage, agriculture, produce, and the sector, secondary, dairy farm, primary, mineral exploration, tertiary, weaving cloth, secondary, right? So ultimately, if you see this, it was more of a match the following kind of a question. Now, if I've just mugged, then will I be able to solve this question? It's very difficult. It's very difficult because you will not have the list of all the activities and the criteria that whether they are primary, secondary or tertiary. When your conceptual clarity is good, only then you will be able to solve the question, because if you have a conceptual clarity, That primary activity means extraction of resource, natural resource. Secondary activity is transforming the raw material into production. And tertiary activity is providing services to industry and manufacturing. So when you, industry and agriculture. So when you have this kind of criteria in your mind, कोई भी क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा, आप सॉल्व कर लोगे. Right? So this is what we call as knowledge into application. ठीक है ना? For example, storage of agriculture produce, it's a service. The reason being, it's a service that is being provided to agriculture. So it will be part of the tertiary activity. Dairy farm, it's extraction of natural resource. So it's primary. Mineral exploration, it is extraction. So primary. So it's wrong. Weaving cloth, it's transformation of raw material into production. So it's secondary. So once you have that core thinking process in mind, it becomes easy for you to use the knowledge into application. Third and very important, if you are unable to identify your critical gaps, if you're not cracking the exam, there are definitely certain gaps in your preparation, right? And you are giving mock test, but by giving mock test, let's say you are getting less marks. Now, if you're not able to identify why you are not getting bad marks, then ultimately there is no point of you giving the mocks. So as a part of this program, what we do is that we help you identify your critical gaps, prelims, mains, दोनों में, through the report cards that we make for the candidates. Because we have identified that if the question is getting wrong, it is because of certain gaps. 7-8 gaps we have identified. And after every mock test, the mentor sits and actually identify the gaps, and then based on that the mentor gives the suggestion. For example, these questions were asked by the UPSC this year. Delimitation. So if you are unable to get this answer right, it's a part of the factual gap. It means that you're not able to remember the facts. Or this question, which one of the following statement is correct as per the Constitution of India? Now this is part of the revision gap, because there are like 4 statements which has all the list, and definitely if you have studied once or twice, it's difficult for you to exactly remember these clauses in the Constitution. So it's part of the revision gap. Let's say this question asked by the UPSC. Many chewing gums found in the market are considered pollution, a source of environment. Statement 2. Many chewing gums contain plastings as gum base. Now, if you don't know about this, you can still solve the question if you have the application knowledge. That if you have statements like many, some, usually there is a possibility. Now, it's very difficult to deny possibility of any topic, right? So UPSC does not actually go into that controversy. So if the statement has wordings like many, can, sometimes, some, then usually it's right. So using this knowledge, you can actually solve the statement, which is both of them are correct. Okay, na? So these gaps are very important to identify. Similarly, this was a sample copy of one of our mentee. So in the first test, he actually wrote very, very bad answers in a way that in the whole paper he has written like 6 points only, and see the length of the points. It's not structured. The question was asked about the pressure group, and if you see that there is no structure. The first part, India share multiple similarities with Western democracies. It was not covered at all by the candidate because he felt that this should not be identified, but we always tell that non-core part should also be identified in the answer. तो ये आप देखोगे कहीं भी उसने कुछ एड्रेस नहीं किया है, बड़े बड़े पॉइंट्स 6 पॉइंट में पूरा आंसर खत्म. After one mentorship session, the same candidate, if you see his answers, he started with proper quote and see the points, the length of the points, 1 or 2 lines. So because of this, he was able to write 10, 11 points in a 10 marker. And if you see the structure, he is giving proper subheading and then expanding it. And if you see it here, recommendations, he has mentioned all the committees, Tarkunde, Goswami, 255 Law Commission. So if you see, in just one session of mentorship, his answers have improved like anything. That's the whole purpose of mentorship. That's the whole idea of identifying your gaps. Right? If he would have not identified his gaps, he would have continued to write like this. Right? Similarly, very important, the most important purpose of this program, make you mains ready by January end. Mains just got over and so many candidates have come to me just after the mains and they have joined, this program or the short program. And I said that, abhi to ye result bhi nahi aaya, I should wait for the result first. And they said, nahi hona hai. Why? Same reason, that they started mains preparation after prelims, after the prelims. In 2-3 months, you can't do anything. Let's be very clear. You can't do anything. Right? You have to reach to a level of mains preparation by January end before you move to the prelims mode. Right? So, as a target in next 3 months, we will help you with 4 things or 3 things, not the optional one. That you have to do it yourself. But the first 3 things. 1-pager notes. I've emphasized a lot of, about 1-pager notes. How all the toppers are saying that they've made 1-pager notes. So we'll help you with making 1-pager notes, plus we'll provide 1-pager notes to you also as a part of this program. Answer writing practice dedicated for all the subjects along with evaluation and mentorship. Thirdly, completion and revision of most probable themes. So we'll provide you a list of topics, most important topic for mains that you have to prepare by January end. So that's our guarantee that we will make you mains ready by January end. 5th, smart planning. The reason why we have launched this program is smart planning. Now, if you see a photo behind me, Battle of Panipat. Now, if you see this photo, if you see this, if you have read history, you know that the army of Robert Clive was 750 and he fought against the army of 20,000. That was the army of the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaula. Despite 750 soldiers, they defeated much larger army. Why? Because of smart planning. He could identify that he cannot win the war if the army of Nawab would fight them. So let's use our brain. Because they knew that there are certain people who are not happy with the arrangement. So they went to them, convinced them, and these people then revolted. Or these people helped the British. Most important being the Jagat Seth, Mir Jafar. So all these people then kind of conspired and with an army of 750, they defeated a much larger army. That's smart planning. Right? In UPSC also, you need smart planning, which means it's not the number of hours that you are devoting. It's what you are reading actually. And within a topic, what parts, what dimensions you are focusing upon. That's important. That's very important. For example, if you see Jainism and Buddhism, favorite topic of UPSC, prelims mein har saal aata hai. Now, if you know that, smart planning would mean that you know that these are the 6 dimensions on which UPSC is asking question. Important text, sects of Buddhism and Jainism, important terms associated, features of different sect, right? And then you have important stupas associated with Jainism and Buddhism and important scholars associated with Jainism and Buddhism. ये 6 चीजें हैं जो आपको पढ़नी है. अब when you are reading a topic of Jainism and Buddhism, you're not reading any crap. You are just focusing on these 6 dimensions. So for all the important topics, it's very important to identify the dimensions that you need to cover. And that's what we will teach in this program, smart planning. Animesh Pradhan AI2 had 5 hours every day. He was working professional. He could have read everything under the sun. But he ensured that whatever was being read or whatever he read made some sense, made some relevance with his UPSC preparation. And that's how he was able to crack the exam in the very first attempt. Right? There's a very important Subway model. Subway basically is a very important chain, 37,000 outlets all over the world in 100 countries. How did Subway grow? Because Subway did a smart planning. Subway knew that, it cannot run the program or run these outlets individually. So it started with the franchisee model. And through franchisee model, the owners did not do any investment and they just earned royalty. So because of that, Subway expanded. So for anything, if you have to do anything in life, you need to do smart planning, especially in UPSC. Because number of hours does not matter. Animesh Pradhan has proved. Right? It is the how you are utilizing those 5 hours, how you are doing the smart planning that matters. Then the sixth reason why we have launched this batch is it takes 21 days to make a habit. Now she was my student, Sayali Matre, Indian Foreign Service. She is currently posted in Israel, Director Cultural Center. Now, if I tell a story of hers, look, that is actually something that is very personal also, and that is actually something which is very inspiring also. That, she got into IPS before getting into IFS in the same year exam. And, DOPT told her that, you will get upgraded to IFS. And if you know that, if you get selected into IFS or IAS, you can't give the exam again. So she was told by the DOPT कि आपका हो जाएगा, 1 महीने बाद second list आएगी and you will get IFS. Now, ultimately what happened was that during that time she gave her prelims, and after giving prelims, she used to study for 10, 12 hours, 13 hours a day. Now I told her कि यार तुम्हारा तो हो जाएगा IFS. Why are you doing this? Why are you putting so much hard work? She said, sir, अगर 1% भी chance मेरा नहीं होगा, तो I have to give the exam. So I have to put the same efforts because I cannot compromise with my ethics that I am preparing for the exam. So I have to give my 100%. And literally, she still went to 8 a.m. in the library, 10 baje bahar aati thi. This is the kind of habit that should be instilled in the minds of UPSC if you want to crack the exam. And this is what we will try to build in this program. That's why we have this 2 weeks eviction plan. 2 weeks, you are not fulfilling our targets, you will be out of the program. We'll refund your fees, you're out. Because we need 100 more serious aspirants for this program. We need this kind of Sayali Matre type of dedication, right? That is required. And it takes 21 days to make a habit. Through this eviction plan, we'll try to make the habit of yours कि आपको हर Sunday test देना है, आपको हर 6 दिन में target पूरा करना है. Because these are small goals that you have to achieve the bigger goal, which is the UPSC cracking. Aditya Pandey, AIR 48, he scored 33 marks in the first test he wrote in ethics. And I've seen many candidates who would give up after that. हमसे नहीं हो सकता UPSC. He scored 33 out of 250. I'm talking about the mock test. From there, he literally showed dedication and perseverance. Ki ethics is my weakest link. I have to focus on ethics. And in the actual UPSC exam, he scored 136 or 37 in the ethics paper. Right? A jump of 100 marks. So he could have given up. But he ensured that कि नहीं करना है. तो एक habit बनाई. So this habit is something that we will build in this program. And lastly, every aspirant is unique. And that's the core philosophy of this program. That's why we always say that every student is a batch in this program. Why? Because for every student, we know that their learning pattern is different. Their strengths are different. Their weaknesses are different. Their preparation level is different. Their natural inclination is different. Now, I have a background in economics and history. Naturally, that is easy for me. And I would not require 7 days or 5 days for that. I probably will require 3 days for that. Now, I'm not from a science background. So definitely I'll require more time for science. So every aspirant is unique. As Gandhiji said, that religions are different roads converging to the same point. And I can tell you with a lot of examples, candidates that we've mentored. For example, if you see Pooja Gupta, AIR 42. Now she did not draw any diagram in her answers. And just 1 month before mains, she asked for good copies. So I sent some copies to her. I think it was 40-45 days before the mains exam. एंड देन शी सेड सर सबने डायग्राम बनाया, मैं तो डायग्राम बनाती नहीं हूँ, तो आई थिंक मेरा तो नहीं होगा. सो आई सेड you can do it, you can also try. So next test mein, she made some diagrams, but she kind of exceeded the time by 30 minutes. And then she said, sir, nahi ho sakta kyunki diagram bana ke I can't complete the paper. Now then we kind of sat together and we chalked a different strategy ki let's not focus on the diagram. Let's skip the diagram completely. Let's not draw any diagram. Right? Let's focus on the other hygiene factors. Introduction, conclusion, all these things, the keywords. And she did not draw any diagram in the actual mains paper, not even a single diagram. Despite that, she scored 42 rank. So now many toppers say कि बिना diagram के आप नहीं ला सकते rank. She did not draw any diagram. So that's what I'm saying. Every aspirant is unique, and there is no one way to crack the exam. There are multiple ways, and that's also the core philosophy of this program. ठीक है ना? Similarly, if you see Animesh Pradhan, 5 hours per day. Now there are candidates who also study 12 hours, 14 hours, right? He was able to do in 5 hours because probably his concepts were good and it was good, right? So that's what I'm saying, ki unique strategy is required. Now what strategy suits you, that we will decide, that our mentors will decide for you as a part of the program. So I think from my side, these are the things, or these are the reasons we have explained that why we have launched the program. Now how this program will actually work on the ground, these are all talks that I have been giving, but how does it actually work on the ground, the implementation of whatever I'm saying? Richa ma'am will now discuss. So Richa ma'am, please come.
So now I'm going to discuss with you how are we actually going to implement what we have visualized for you, and how is it going to help you in our ways. Fine. So what we are launching is the Prodigy 100 batch. What do we mean by this batch is that we are only handpicking 100 selected candidates from your applications. Now that depends upon some of the qualifications, some of the criterias. The first one being that either you have finished up the entire foundational studies, let's say from a coaching, from your own self, but you are good to go with the syllabus. Second is you've already written prelims. If you have already attained the scorecard of it, then you have to submit it via the mail ID or the Google form which is attached in the comment section. Fine. The mail ID of it I'll be showing you in the end of the slide. So please hang in there with me for a while. And the second criteria is if you're genuinely willing to move any miles and yards to crack the paper with us. Now that kind of conviction is very rare among the students. We get very highly motivated, highly dopamine whenever we feel any help is there around us. But believe me, all of us are just facilitators. It's you, your conviction, your diligence and your discipline that is going to help you crack the paper. But how do we help you? How do we come up as a facilitator? We will see across these resources deliverables. This will also help you understand why this particular program is unique. Okay. So first things first, there is a personalized study plan for everyone, because we have just now seen that there are multiple roads which are converging to the same path. Now you need not to replicate something which your bhaiya or didi have done or which your some topper inspiration has done. No, because everybody has their own strengths, weaknesses. We need to utilize our strengths. We need to mile down our weaknesses and create something which helps the best for us. Which means we need not to create diagrams all the time, which means we need not to write in point-wise fashion all the time, which means we need not to start with, let's say, ethics subject all the time or option subject all the time. There could be multitude of ways. It depends upon your SWOT analysis. Either you have done that or you delegate that upon us. And we do that, and then we create a study plan for you. That's the first deliverable and the most important one, because if you have planned, you are halfway done. Right? So a very important plan will give you motivation and a purpose on daily basis. We humans actually thrive on purposes. If in a day you wake up without a study plan, without a target of the day, you will feel not motivated enough for UPSC. And believe me, if it happens down the line straight for 1 week, you will eventually start questioning, why am I even preparing for the paper? It's not actually that you are lacking the conviction to crack the paper, but your lack of discipline, the lack of discipline in your routine, which is lacking. That gets induced by the study plan. Either we make it or you make it, but this is something that we highly promote. Everything should be very much disciplined. We should be pursuing this examination in a very professional fashion. Second thing is, the most important thing that we have observed in UPSC is that each one who have went to the interview level, who have been there, done that, these guys have got extremely wonderful notes and crisp notes with them. And this is something which we all lays out to make. We don't make it by ourselves. And it's not just the notes, but the quality of the notes which tells the examiner how good you have a command over a particular subject or a particular topic. That can only happen once you have beautiful notes. And what I mean by beautiful notes, something which is multi-dimensional, something which brings uniqueness into your answer. And I'm just not talking about putting data. See, everybody is putting data, everybody is putting examples in the age of AI and chat GPT. What will make you stand out? What are those X factors? There are multitude of X factors, but the most important one is having multi-dimensionality so that you can connect across the subject. That can only happen once you have revised one subject very good, in a very good fashion, and that happens once you have the notes. How we facilitate that is by providing you workbooks. Now these workbooks are notes which are created in the application friendly manner, which means if you're consuming something on, let's say, food processing industry, you will not just be reading it on paragraphical format. You will be reading it in such a fashion that you are getting your introductions, you're getting your multiple dimensions, you're getting a way forward on the go while you're reading it, right? So that is how we produce mains workbook. Now there are different kind of questions getting asked in prelims. Okay, we see about different unique species and them getting asked in prelims examination. Tell me more about it. Tell me about some other prelims questions that you find unique. How are they changing the pattern of polity and economy question these days? So this changing pattern is analyzed by us and structured into the notes format. So there is a unique prelims workbook as well. Fine, I hope that is clear. Now what happens is, let's say examination is coming and I have created all these beautiful curated notes, multi-dimensional, all of it. But ma'am, I don't have time to revise all of it because I just have 1 week ahead of the exam. So then what do? I need to have more consolidated and crisper form of notes with me as well. That which we call as the one-pager notes. So for every topic, let's say I'm preparing for Parliament, Indian Parliament, then I need to have all the important essentials of Indian Parliament in just 1 to 2 page, because that is all that I can consume. Because let's say I'm sitting for the paper of GS2, right? I will not be getting that much time. I probably would be having just 5 hours of time for revision. So I need very consolidated notes. So this four-sightedness is very important for exam. This is not something you're going to make after prelims. This is something you can make right now. Promote it and we provide it to you as well, and this is exclusively under the Step Up Mentorship Program. Second one is getting inspired by the people who have cracked it. Those are the toppers. So the way they have curated their notes, how to get inspired, how to use the best out of it, and how to create your own unique notes from their inspirations. That is also provided, that is also supported by us. We provide you some of the most hidden topper notes of the industry, because not all topper notes are published on Telegram and other social media channels, right? But we do provide it to you, okay? So these are the things which makes this program extremely exclusive. If you compare it along the other things, you will also find that these kind of notes are not being provided anywhere else, okay? So this is how we intend to help you. We intend to provide you better notes, okay? Now the next deliverable is the videos. Let's say there are certain high yielding topic. If I'm talking about polity, you need to know about the basic structure. What is the basic structure doctrine, some of the important judicial sayings about different aspects of polity. Or let's say you have to read about Indian Parliament, some concepts of the basic doctrines, etc. have to be clear on you. So these videos, let's say about Indian cyclone, or let's say about the Indian monsoon. So reading about these concepts could also be important, right? Sometimes if you have not attended the foundational classes, how will you fix that gap? So we have got high yielding videos as well on these high yielding topics. Fine. So there is educational content as well. Next is we provide you current affair guidance. How are we going to do it? I'm going to elaborate further in the slide. Next is the essay module. Essays are something which can make or break the game. Somebody who's getting the exceptional marks in GS might be lacking a lot in essay. In fact, if somebody is lacking in essay, might not be getting good marks in ethics as well, because both of them have got this good coherence. Ethics and essays are coherent to each other, right? So to ensure that you are getting essay right by one of the best persons, which is Piyush sir. So that is also something that we intend to provide you in this particular course. Then is a strategic skill building session. You know that prelims examination, the mains answer writing, it is not just about collecting the knowledge and trying to reproduce it. It is such a short period of time when you have to work under pressure. You need to build the skill. You need to build a memory muscle in you. So that can only be done with the help of practice, with the help of strategic guidance by the strategic experts. So that is also something that we provide you on every bi-weekly basis. Then in order to assess, there are of course all India tests, there are weekly tests, mains tests, prelims camp test, which is going to commence from 4th of December, and other augmentation. So let me bring you some samples of it. Okay, this is our sample of one student. This is not going to apply for everybody, but this is one sketch that we have created. So for the batch of Prodigy, we intend to finish up your entire mains preparation by January. Okay. This doesn't mean that some of the topics like disaster management, international relations will not be covered. They will be covered, but they will be more relevant during the month of January and February. So in this fashion, we have on weekly basis divided your entire syllabus. Okay. Now the next one, see, once I know what do I have to do in 1 week, now I have to break my task further down into days. Agree with me or not? Right? So how to divide it into days? I will divide it on the basis of GS mains syllabus. It is only through the mains that you crack the prelims and not the other way around. If at all in this point in time you are feeling that ma'am, I will only prepare for prelims and then I will prepare for mains, believe me, you're just creating a Pandora's box for you, because this will create a never-ending cycle of UPSC for you. Prelims is not the gateway to success. Prelims is just a stepping stone. It's just a stepping door, right? So please understand, it is only if your fundamentals on mains are covered, if your syllabus of mains is covered, then your prelims will also be covered eventually. Okay. Should you have any doubt and you would want to ask about it, please ask me any kind of doubt if it's there. If there's any doubt from your side, please feel free to ask me. Meanwhile, I would like to highlight the fact that we also have a love for details. So let's say we are picking a topic for you, which is historical underpinnings, evolution, basic features of the Constitution. Not for the first attempters. It is for the first attempters. It is for anybody who is a prodigy. What do we mean by a prodigy? Somebody who is genuinely willing to crack the paper in this attempt. Because we are also very serious for inducting people who are very serious. Not somebody who just wants to play it as a game, take it as just another examination. That is not what we are intending, because we are actually putting a lot of resources, faith and effort on you. So we would want somebody who's willing to crack the paper no matter what. So if that conviction is in you, you are a hidden prodigy and you can apply for the program. Of course, you have to go through an assessment test for us just to check your basic conceptual clarity. Okay. So how that process folds up, I'll be telling you soon. Next question, I haven't done answer writing. Will it be covered in this program? 100%. How to do the answer writing, how to add X factors in your answer to make it more unique, how to ensure that you are getting more marks, improved marks in every test, and also for the test series. Everything is a part of this exam, of this program, right? So it's there. Next is, so somebody is asking question regarding English. So, okay, it's just about the exposure. If you get enough exposure, you will get better in any language. Now, let me bring your attention to our love for details. Okay, see what happens is how to cover the syllabus. Syllabus is very vast in its entire length and breadth, right? If I tell you that please go and finish the topic of functions, responsibilities of union and states, issues, challenges pertaining to federal structure, you will say, okay, but from where? That's the first question. And the source is not very important. What is important is what kind of questions can be further asked from this part. So we provide you that as well in this program. Just to give you an instance on this, what is Indian federalism? How did it emerge? how is it derived from, and how is it different from the Government of India Act 1935? What are the different types of federalism followed across the world? How is the federalism of British, Canada and USA different from that of ours? How are we quasi-federal in structure? What are the challenges pertaining to Indian federal structure? What are the judicial sayings, judgments made on our federal structure? Then what is competitive federalism? What is cooperative federalism? Then what is neo-federalism? Then what are the relevant doctrines? For example, doctrine of territorial nexus. How does Indian constitution lean in favor of a strong center? This is something that you're not going to readily find. These questions is something not you're going to readily find, but once you know what to study in great detail, then you will be able to create notes just like that. Okay, that is what we intend to do for you. Fine. So we provide you that kind of structured assessment, that kind of structure in your preparation. Coming to the next part, how do we help with notes making? I would just like to showcase, because I've told you the philosophy, Sajal sir has told you the philosophy, I'll just be telling you, giving you some of the samples. Okay. Let's say we have got a workbook on food processing sector in India, and we have got workbooks for all the topics of mains and prelims. So you can see that we have got almost all the topics covered in polity. Such minute details have been covered in the form of workbooks, so you will get them readily available. Now let me show you how our workbook looks like and what is the format behind it. When I'm saying it's application ready, what we intend to do, we provide you variability in the introduction. You can pick any one of them, or you can get inspired how to create introductions. Then the other factors like data related to food processing industry, best practices across international domain or national domain in the food processing sector. Okay, then what is the scope of food processing in India? Then the scope further gets dissected into the economic scope, the social scope, right? And then we have got the government initiatives for food processing industry. Food processing industry, what is the significance of food processing industry? Now, if an ordinary person would start writing it, they will just write 5 points, right? But how we make sure that you get some extra marks, X factor into it, we put up significances into multiple stakeholders. What is the significance for the farmer? What is for the consumer? What is for the businesses, right? Next is challenges faced by food processing industry. It's not just the content that we are giving to you. We are creating a structure for you. Okay, how will you deal with the challenges? There are farm level challenges, there are distribution level challenges, there are consumer level challenges. This is how on these ideology our entire workbooks have been created. The sample is specifically for the mains workbook. Okay, now I will show you the one-pager note. This is something that we will be providing you. We will be providing you from our side just to make sure that you can crack the examination in this period of time. Okay, so the one-pager note would include something like this. Very crisp data on how to start your introduction. Let's say the topic is on parliamentary privileges, under which article of constitution parliamentary privileges for the union and the state has been defined. We look into that. Or certain, let's say some judgment which has let's say given us the score that flexibility in privileges is essential for legislative independence, or a context based which means something related to current affair. So this kind of variations and flexibility in introduction in just one pager note. So just one day before the examination, or let's say you're going to conduct some test, you're going to take some test, okay, for mains. So you can just have a quick look into these one pager notes, and believe me, you'll be much more confident. Just have a look into it. Supreme Court judgments related to parliamentary privileges, how beautifully all of them have been segregated and categorized. You just have to consume it, apply it in your examination. Okay, and that is there. Your X factor is there with you. Fine. Then the topper notes. So these are some of the topper notes. This is just one. We are going to provide you many topper notes. Okay, so that you can get inspired how they have created and how these notes have helped them crack the examination, right? So this is also something that we provide you in the notes. Now talking about the mentorship intervention. This is essentially a mentorship program. Now do you have any further doubts on this? Where I have spoken till now, do you have any doubt? Is there any doubt coming up onto your mind? Please feel free to ask that. I'll be checking the comments. It's batch starting with foundation or only revision batch? for first prelims. Khushi Ghai, if you have given or if you are about to give the first prelims, then sure you can fill the form that is attached over there. You can sign up yourself for an assessment with us because we just want to see whether you are coming under that prodigy category or not. So it will be a very simple assessment, but it will be very thorough assessment. It will be checking your conceptual clarity, right? So it is for the first prelims attempters as well. Nawazish is asking, ma'am, it's batch starting with foundation or only revision batch? So this is not a revision batch. This is going to finish up everything for you. Okay, this is going to finish up the entire syllabus for you, but at the same time, see what happens is most of the time gets wasted in notes making. While it is promoted, we will always promote you to create notes from your end. But let's say you are losing out on notes making, but we want you to be exam ready, right? So there are certain interventions we will be making, and this will magically transform the entire UPSC game. It will expedite the process for you like nobody else, like nothing else, right? So please remember that we will be providing you foundation, not the foundational support, not the revision support, but something in between. We expect that the foundational clarity should be there with you, okay, at least on the basic subjects like polity, economy. Next is, ma'am, just wanted to know how this program intends to finish mains related preparation by January. That is done by the entire, we have strategized the entire these months into weeks. I'll just show an example to you. So you will be covering polity, especially the GS2 part of the polity in these 2 weeks, followed up by ethics in the next 3 weeks, along with governance, because ethics and governance are coherent to each other. That is also when your essay classes will be there, right? So all of them which are in coherence will be functioning alongside. Next is, you will be taking up economy with internal security, which means we are going to focus on your GS3. So this is how by January you will be mains ready. You only need to read what we are giving to you alongside your basic foundational books or any notes which you have created previously, only that much. Okay, so we are just trying to see the whole idea behind creating the Prodigy batch and the course of Prodigy is to simplify the things for you, to just give you the things which are high yielding in their very nature, so that you're not struggling to pick what to read, when to do the test, if I'm taking this test, and how to analyze it. All of this hassle is just immediately removed, because whatever works in multiple stages, in different stages of the examination, whatever has worked for different people, we try to provide it directly to you, right? So, okay, now I will move on to how mentorship support is provided to you. So our mentorship is 4-tiered. This we have already told. This is the basic philosophy of Step Up. The basic foundation is your own mentor, a personal mentor with you who will be there with you, like for the entire period, for the entire course of time. It will also, the mentorship can also get extended till interview if you crack the mains examination. Okay, so mentor support will be there. A personal mentor will be there for you, for your personal support. Now, alongside, there will be online sessions with existing IAS IPS toppers in this program, and this is going to happen once in the month. Okay, online sessions, personal one-to-one sessions will be there, or if the time doesn't permit, then there will be group sessions paired with just 5 people each time. Okay, next is answer writing enrichment sessions. So how to add or how to create qualitative answers in just 7 minutes time, in just 10 minutes time. That is also a skill. Do you agree with me or not? So we try to develop that into you. So we have got answer writing enrichment sessions. We have got PYQ solving sessions to understand the algorithm of prelims examination specially. So we have got very in-depth PYQ analysis sessions as well. And what is different for this Prodigy 100 batch, which sets it apart from the previous batches of Step Up, is that it is going to be specially handheld by Sajal sir and me, which means every 15th day you can choose and come to sit personally with us and take mentoring from us directly. Okay, so alongside your personal mentor, you're going to get all these mentor support. So you can see that we are not believing in one size fits all, be it when it comes to planning, notes making, or whether it comes to current affair, whether it comes to mentorship, we offer you plethora of choices. You choose the best for yourself. Okay, it's like, you know, Netflix, how you just purchase a subscription, the monthly, the yearly subscription of Netflix, and all the resources of Netflix are there under your hand. This program is just like that. Whatever you would be requiring outside, whatever you would be requiring outside of reading your foundational books, everything is there, right? And the most important thing, you know what, is to take care of your attitude during the exam, is to take care of your psychological, your emotional well-being in the exam. And that is where mentorship plays a very, very important role. People feel lonely, people feel depressed, people feel stressed, most of the times because there's nobody to talk to them. Most of the times because they have separated themselves away from their erstwhile friend circle, who were not working well for them, they were not having the same frequency, now ended up alone. And now, see, what happens during loneliness is that you will never be able to perform at your T level, at your best level. Okay, so to make you emotionally fit, academically fit, application based, if we want to say that word, that if we want to make you equipped in the skill domain as well, for all of that, mentorship support works like magic. Okay, now coming to current affairs. So for current affairs, we not only just provide you the daily current affair articles, we have highlighted the newspapers, whatever you needed to read in this, let's say in this article of green hydrogen, we'll highlight it for you and we'll provide you all the data over there, whatever is important. Let's say we are reading about green hydrogen, what is green hydrogen, key sector involved, policy support, how is it produced, what is the data around key hydrogen in India, everything we provide you in these daily handouts. Okay, the second thing that we provide to you are the very holistically covered smart current affair program, which is actually an exclusive paid program outside of Step Up, but we have incorporated that into Step Up. As I've told you, it's like a Netflix subscription, right? And this is taken up by our premier faculties like Jain Parikshit sir, you all must have already heard of him, and there are many more. So almost all the topics, even if you're not good in GS3, now you know what happens in GS3, if you see the marks of toppers since the last 3 years, you will find them, you will find that the people who have scored actually more than 100% GS3 have got a high likelihood of cracking the paper, right? Because GS3 has become one pain point of the aspirants these days because of its unpredictability, its high dynamicity, right? To counter that, we have specifically created the Smart Current Affair program. Here, you will not just be reading the important current affair articles of science and tech, social justice, governance, international relations, economy, but you will also be reading the entire static background that you need to know about it. So even if you are somebody who has done, let's say, foundation in 2018 or 2020, you are not updated, you are not good to go with GS3 because concepts keep changing with the news, with the evolving news, because our economy is continuously evolving, right? That is why Smart Current Affair helps you a lot. So that is integrated, it's a part of Step Up. Fine. Now, next thing is, what are the high yielding areas of, let's say, polity? What is the distribution of questions? Which topics are more important? What sources to pick? And all of these things. This is something that we take care in the mentorship sessions, the strategic sessions. So you don't need to worry about it. How, ma'am, how do I do polity? How do I do this particular topic? We will dissect it to the T. Okay. Now, the next thing is nature of the mentorship. Now, what makes this mentorship very unique is 2 points. It's not just demand driven. That today I want to consult my mentor, like I want to consult my therapist or my, my counselor or my academic mentor. It's not like this. You can of course reach out to us on demand basis, but we also provide you certain supply driven support from our side because we feel very responsible towards you. If I'm creating such a process for you to get inducted into this, believe me that we will be working day and night. We'll be working 10x more than you for your success. That is the kind of integrity we have towards you as a student, towards this program in its entirety, right? This program therefore is supply driven. Mentor from their own side would be giving you follow-ups every 3rd day. Okay, there will be test discussions which will automatically be scheduled the moment you take the tests. Then there will be accountability calls on you regularly. Because what is important is to check whether you are on the track or not. because some days we are not even aware. See, the whole problem is, I believe, not just of the UPSC community, but of humans, as a species, that we lack self-awareness. If I am lacking motivation, if I am not performing for 3 days straight, and I'm not even self-aware, these 3 days are wasted, and on the 4th day I feel depressed. That's a very basic nature. The moment I become aware, the moment I become accountable to somebody, I will become more motivated towards pursuing my goal the next day. That is the nature of the exam. That is the nature of how humans work as well. So therefore, incorporation of accountability is something that we have done in this mentorship. Okay. Now, next is everything is automated. You will be getting a portal access. Portal access is something which is going to be a digital midway between you and our mentors and us. So here you will get all the resources the moment you log in for the program. Okay, all the tests will be uploaded in one go. The assessments are done on artificial intelligence basis, wherein you will get to know a lot many metrics and not just simply how much are correct and how much are incorrect, right? Next is, there will be thorough assessment. Now, this is how we try to move ahead and move beyond of the ordinary UPSC preparation. See, Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay, the Pyramid of Giza wasn't built in a day. It was built brick by brick. So similarly, your performance is built test by test. But the first brick has to be perfectly laid. Each and every brick has to be perfectly laid. Therefore, each and every test has to be perfectly analyzed. For that, we have got assessment sheets which have to be filled after every test completion. Do you have any doubt, guys? So far, so good. Do you have any doubt till now? If at all, please feel free to ask. Okay. So Gaurav Verma is asking for pre-2025. Yes, Gaurav, this is for pre-2025 and not just for prelims but for mains. We are taking this hard shot of doing everything in these 200 days. In fact, 199 days precisely are left for the exam. But we will be preparing you for pre and mains both. Okay. Next is, ma'am, what will be the schedule for working professionals? So we would be giving you more flexibility. We would be focusing your preparation more towards the highest yielding topics which we have already created and planned out. The mentor will be taking you suitably, will be sorting out their time according to your convenience, that is there. And of course, little bit more hand holding would be required from you. For example, Animesh Pradhan, right? So Animesh Pradhan, he was a working professional. He only used to study 5 hours. But what he was consuming, what he was studying, he was confident about it because he was studying the right thing. He was guided in the right way. So there will be a different plan, a little bit different plan. Of course, the syllabus would be same. We would like to cover you everything. But at the same time, we will be focusing more on the high yielding topic coverage for you. Okay. So we will be diluting the plan for you. Okay, next is, ma'am, I have not admit and mark sheet. What should I do? Nawazish, can you please fill up the Google form which has been attested, I think, in the comment section. Sir, is it there? Is it there? Google form laga hua hai us pe? Yes. Hai na? So please try to fill that and sign up for an assessment with us. You just have to sit with us either online or offline. We'll assess and then we will induct you into the program. Okay? Please fill the Google form. Ma'am, Kalyan is asking, by any chance does this program also include mentorship for optional as well? That is not something that we provide. It's an entirely GS mentorship program. But what happens is, when you get connected with somebody, I will also just would like to ask about your optional subject. What is your optional subject, Kalyan? Can you please tell it to me? Because what happens some days when the mentor has got the same optional as that of yours, in that case, they can provide you a generic guidance. But of course, these resources wouldn't be provided. Okay, but generic guidance would be there. Okay, Nachiket, ma'am, what about 2026? That's a very good question, Nachiket. We will be bringing up 2026 Step Up Mentorship Program from January onwards. This one particularly is for 2025 only. Fine. But if you want to get prepared beforehand by 2025 prelims, then you're most welcome. Okay. But please have a very strong faith in yourself. Please have a faith that this is not going to be easy. It is definitely going to be worth it, but not easy. because you really have to study. Studying is not something which gives instant dopamine, instant pleasure to a lot many people. It requires patience, perseverance. What facilitates our consistency, our discipline in this process is when you have a support. When you have somebody who genuinely understands your concerns and tries to solve them. Okay? So, ma'am, I have filled the form before. Do I need to refill the form? No, Harsh, you don't need to refill it. But in case it has been missed from our side, though I'll check it from the admin team, but in case we have missed it out, kindly fill it again. Okay? Ma'am, admit card and mark sheet is compulsory for sign up. It is not compulsory. If you don't have them, then you have to sit for an assessment with us. It would be just 10 minutes assessment just to get to know better so that we can create a better plan for you. Okay? If one-pager notes are given, then where do we need to make notes? See, that is a very good question. I actually waited for somebody to ask this question. We will be providing you multiple notes, multiple level of notes, right? But what you are getting, the other people are also getting. The uniqueness has to be added from your side. That is why we are not spoon feeding you, we are facilitating you. How are we going to do this? I will provide you something which you have not created by yourself. Let's say you have already created notes on parliamentary privileges, you prefer your notes, but you get inspired from our structure. Maybe you can create 100 times better notes as that of this. We will promote you to create notes. That is why the entire program has been designed in such a fashion. But at the same time, let's say there are 200 topics on UPSC mains, of the UPSC main syllabus. Is it possible to create notes on everything in 200 days? No. So whatever you don't have notes of, that will be there with you. You will have this assurance that Step Up has got my back. Right? Okay. Vishal, for this particular question, kindly fill up the form. Fill up the form, you will be contacted by the team and they'll let you know about the fees. Okay. I am in this particular program, okay. Is it still needed? I really can't comment on that, what kind of resources you're getting from there. If you feel that any lacuna is there, you need better support, you need mentorship support, if there's something that we are offering which is unique, if you feel that, there's no pressure. If you feel that, you can join it, okay. But I have already told you everything. The evidences are clear in front of you. We have not hidden anything. Okay, all the resources are there in front of you. Of course, we have a lot of things which are still unhidden, which are still hidden, which are not, because of the paucity of the time, we couldn't put it out. But everything that we'll be offering is in front of you. So you can compare yourself, use your intellect, choose the best for yourself. Okay? What you teach in this, so, okay. So I take up the prelims analysis, I take up the prelims PYQ analysis alongside providing you specialized strategic mentorship in every 15 days. Okay. Is there any other question? Students, is there any other question? So how many of you are here to crack the examination in 2025? How many of you genuinely want to crack the examination in 2025? And I'm not just talking about prelims. Prelims, of course, we have to crack the paper, but the entire paper. How many of you are genuinely willing? You see that willingness is very important. You will only be able to move miles or take a lot of difficulties head on if you are passionate about something. If you genuinely want to serve for the nation, you genuinely want to perform or to become something which is your best level, your best version. If you want to do something like that, you should be creating an atmosphere around you which facilitates you. I'm not just talking about mentorship support, but think for yourself. Whatever you want to achieve in your life, you have to be in an environment which facilitates that. That is why a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, you must have heard, that they actually sit and drink their coffee in the 5 stars. Not because this is something that they can easily afford, but because they want to live in that vibe and live in that atmosphere where they're living and sitting with the successful people, seeing how they talk, seeing through their minds, practicing their habits, Because all of these things are very contagious. Success is contagious. You sit with a person, you have a friend who's a performer, you will start performing yourself. Right? Creating that atmosphere is very important. So if you have that willingness, it's high time to take actions, because just intentions is not enough. Please take actions for yourself. And one more thing. Whenever we are less on time on something, there are only two things that can save us. One is intensity. Intensity along with consistency. These two things, if supported with each other, multiplied with each other, then they can leverage your performance more than anybody else who's not following these two things. So if you ask me, is it possible in these 200 days? 100%, given you have these two virtues. And to assess that, we promote to take your assessment test, which if you're not able to fill up the form, you can, or if you have any other query related to this webinar, Prodigy Batch, or Step Up Mentorship specifically, then you can give us a ping on this email ID, stepupadmission25@gmail.com. Fine. So I think we are good to go. If you have any other doubt, please feel free to ask, and then we will wind up the session. Harsh, you can take this batch. You can take this one, because what that program offers to you, sir. Because what that program offers to you is more about the main support, but this is a more holistic program. And of course, if you are in J batch, so because you've just now finished up the foundational course, I think this program will suit you the best. You are already fulfilling the criteria. Okay. One page notes are for mains, so we need to make separate notes for prelims, or they will be provided. Prelims notes will be provided to you, but don't get into the trap that, ma'am, I won't be doing any notes making because you are providing it to us. This is not something which I support. You have to do the hard work. You have to create notes. You have to enrich your notes. We are just providing you the skeleton. Of course, they are very much enriched by themselves. You take one sample of our notes, let's say, read it thrice and see the confidence you have in that particular topic. Doesn't mean that you will not be practicing answer writing on it. Doesn't mean that you will not be enriching those notes. So for prelims, you have to create, but we have all the prelims notes made for you. Okay, but you have to see whether it is suiting you, whether you need to change it, alter it, augment it, enrich it. You have to work on it, and most importantly, you have to revise it. Okay. In the form, scorecard is compulsory. No, it's not compulsory in the form. If you don't have the scorecard, if you don't wish to upload it, it's completely fine. Just fill for the assessment. I want to do it in 2025. Shiv Ranjani, it's good to know that you want to do it in 2025. You're most welcome, but we'll be launching a batch in 2026, in 2025 for the 2026 batch. If you want to sign up for that year's prelims, right? If you want to give prelims 2025 and would want to join something in 2025 only, then we have got a different program for you, which is only dedicated for prelims, which is the Step Up Express program. This will make you prelims ready. This will be launching January onwards. So you have these two options. This program would be offline or online. This program is actually completely hybrid. So it is offline if you want it offline. It is online if you want it online. It is also very readily changeable, convertible, right? At any moment in time, you can fill the application and then you can convert it into an online program and vice versa. It's a completely hybrid, very student-friendly program. Okay. Ma'am, do we get 1 pages for all subject and all the major topic? Yes, but for mains, not for prelims, but for mains. Okay. For prelims, what you get is, for prelims, what do we get? The workbooks. They are also similar to 1 pager, very effective, very high yielding, very application ready. Once you see the sample, you will understand how they actually work for you. Okay. Next is there any other doubt, students? It is for the first attempt. I hope I have cleared up all the doubt for you. Okay, I will summarize everything. What is the qualification? The qualification is your intellect, the qualification is your intent to crack the paper. It would be a cherry on the cake if you've already finished the foundational classes, you have the basic notes made, you have already done your foundational work, and then you're signing up with us, then you're more than welcome. You will be immediately inducted. If you've already written prelims and if you've scored anywhere more than 55 marks, then you are already directly inducted into the program. This is also for the first attempters who have never attempted prelims. Just sit for an assessment with us. This will help not only us to analyze you, but it will also help you to get a kind of free mentorship, self-reflection, right? We will help you in that regards. Okay? When you take current affairs on YouTube, Hussain, I do take analyst. I will be taking it tomorrow. I also take recitals on this platform. So my current affair class is is scheduled tomorrow actually. Okay, is there any other doubt? I don't think that we have any other doubts. Shall we wind up the session, students? Thank you so much for being here. And it was equally fun for me to attend all of your doubts. And please work very hard and very sincerely for your dreams. It is completely, totally achievable. Okay? So be driven, be very passionate about your work, about cracking the examination. So see you soon, see you really soon. Till then, bye-bye.